much for watching or listening today. And today I have a very, very special guest. I'm properly pumped and psyched for this interview. Mr. Christian Roberts, founder of Spartan Bare Knuckle Fight Club. Very, very unique system that he's got. Some great ideas. It's actually pit fighting, so it's bare knuckle pit fighting, guys, for anyone that doesn't know. And we're going to be talking today about the sport, about Christian's inspiration for creating Spartan and how he rose to the top of the game. I've got mad respect for this man. So it's going to be a great interview. So yeah, obviously appreciate you making the time, by the way, just to get that in there. And obviously in the gym as well, just having a good session. So starting at the beginning, I mean, you've talked in the past about Spartan, and before we get into what it is, for anyone that doesn't know, the ethos, the meaning, the message behind it, all that sort of thing. I've seen you give interviews where you talk about stopping knife crime and giving people a chance to settle their beefs and all that, some of which is centered around your own background. Can you just walk us through that a little bit, like the initial inspiration for why you created Spartan? That'd be good, please.
Yeah, man. Firstly, thanks for having me. Massive fan of
Pleasure.
the podcast. Love them. I got up one morning and, for those who don't know, I was here previously with CMS Promotions with Michael Mason, rest in peace. He sadly passed away in age, when he was my partner and that. Went away from the sport. And I've been away from the sport for a couple of years. The funny story is that I met up with a character, a very well-known face from the game, which is James Quinn McDonough.
Okay.
He came to see me at my hometown and said to me, "Why don't you come back?" And I wasn't going to do that. And then I got up one morning and I seen that two 13-year-old boys had been stabbed in London and killed, and I was born really. I went to the gym that day and I was sitting there and I thought, I know that we can't get 13-year-olds fighting in the pit. I get that. But it's not just 13-year-olds dying. It's men, women, children. It's everybody. So the concept was born of, let's create a peace treaty with this. And, don't attend the funeral, attend the gym. Don't get jail, get paid. If people need us to die and put the weapons down, man. We're an island race, England, Great Britain. We love a fight. So lead with your respect. Don't be a shithead. You put the weapons down. And Spartan was born, and it wasn't just the concept of, sorry, I'm trying to get some for you. It wasn't just the concept of the knife crime and things. We've evolved over the years so quick that now it's people who've got ex-drug habits, people who've been in jail a lot, they haven't got any prospects or anything. Listen, we've got two hands. It's one language in the pit. If you're good at it, let's make a name for yourself, you get your respect. I think it's a really good concept, and I think if it stops one parent burying the child prematurely, we win.
Absolutely. I love that. I absolutely love that. I love the message behind it. I got big respect for that. I always have. Yeah, I mean, there's nobody to help, a lot of these people, they're sort of outcasts and they're sort of seen as being less than and all that stuff. So, it's a good thing. Now, give a real quick mention to this because I don't want to dwell on this aspect because I want to get into Spartan itself and all that. But obviously with your own background, I mean, you've been through that sort of very intense lifestyle with obviously being a taxman and being put in a container for what was it, 3 days, and I was thinking, bloody hell, when I first heard that, you come through it, so the score, like you're not just doing this like one of these MPs or something. I mean, you've been in it, neck deep, and you know what the score is. So, is there anything you'd like to say, just to give a quick mention, not to dwell on a negative now, but to dwell on a positive, so you could get where I'm coming from, of how you turned your own life around and how you sort of came out of that scene, if you get where I'm coming from?
Well, firstly, I'd like to say that, for any young ones out there or older ones that are just going to turn around, there's no winners in crime. There's none. You think about how many criminals there's been over the years and things, and how many do you see now living like a millionaire successfully? Not many. It's not a good game to get into, man. It's really bad. But I will say in my defence, when I was doing I was doing crime that I had to do. That's how I had to live at that point. I'm not glorifying it. It doesn't make it right. But I was never bad to anybody who was good. The people that me and my pals visited, they weren't very nice people. You know, so would I run up and rob a granny in the street? Absolutely not. You know, there's a code. But you know what I did back then. That was what I needed to do to sustain my life and to live a life. You know, do I regret it? Yeah. And the message out there to any young ones growing up in that: there's no shortcut to success. There's no elevator to success. You've got to take the stairs, man. Yeah. So robbing a few people in that, and listen, believe me when I tell you that shit will catch you up when you're older. And believe me, I'm living proof of it.
Yeah.
So you know, the message out there is concentrate, man. Get some qualification. You know, if you can't do that, then find something you're really good at that doesn't put you in jail and succeed with it. You know, and if I can change the mind of one or two youngsters now who are 14, 15, 16, who are thinking of picking weapons up, listen, where I want to be with Spark in the future is I want to be taking young kids into academies and get them ready for them to 16 or 18 to fight and check. You know, we've got a young kid from Romania, actually. He's 17, man. He's like a full-blown man. You know, he's fit, he's strong. But listen, he's not from a very good area, and this is his way out, man. You know, and I just want young ones out there to know that you will never prosper in that game. Trust me, you will never prosper. As much as you see, I've got a lot of friends on Facebook, and I'm sure you're the same, Liam. Give it an interview. Say hello to the public. Sorry. I know you're doing that. What are you doing? Give it a podcast. Yeah, I've got a lot of friends on Facebook who are well-known gangsters, you know, and are they living like millionaires now? No. You know, so do the right thing. Don't be a shithead. Don't grab weapons. And if you've got a choice, then always take the choice that sways you away from bad decisions, because the only winners are the law.
Yeah, they're wise words, you know, and I knew they would be. But there's a big thing about what I do is inspiration anyway, you know. So a number of the questions today are themed that way, but that's why I wanted to give it a reference, not to dwell on the negatives. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah, no.
People gotta do what they gotta do, but it shows how you turned it around, and it shows other people can as well, and obviously that you're giving back.
And I just want to go back and say I got out the game because, you know, I got lucky in the story you heard about.
Yeah.
You know, but your luck will never last. Let me tell you that. Yeah, take the positive, do something. Of course, the government and certain police forces want these youngsters stabbing each other, and they want them to commit crime. Because all the time they're in jail, they're worth money to them from the government.
Yeah.
You know, break the mold, man. Don't be something that they don't want you to be successful.
Powerful, wise words, champ. Big respect on that, and how you turned it around. All right, so let's get into the good stuff. Let's get into Spartan itself and everything like that. Now, you've had some great shows, obviously over recent time, and I want to just touch on that a little bit, and we'll get into pit fighting and what separates it now. But this is one for the people that know a little bit, okay? So, out of the shows you've had so far, what has been your proudest moment, you know, as a promoter, as the creator of Spartan? Because you've had, I mean, some of the shows, they've been incredible. They've been fantastic. The atmosphere, the quality of the fights, the matching, all types of stuff, you know. But, you know, obviously you're the one creating it. I mean, it's your vision, it's your thing. So do you have any one or two things that sort of stand out as being like your proudest? Like when you look back and you think that was a show, or that was the fight, or, you know, you get where I'm coming from with this.
I would say Spartan 5 was. Now, I've got a friend who works for me, a photographer called Jason Marsh.
Yeah.
And we got Spartan 1, 2, and 3. And I said I'd had to move down to London to nurse, you know, my partner's dad, who was passing a cancer the other year. So we'd been down there for nearly a year nursing him. And I remember Jason ringing me, and up until Spartan 3, all the shows had been in a circus tent outside. So I remember Jason ringing me 3 weeks before Spartan 5. Sorry, Spartan 5. 3 weeks before, and he said, "Well, will any be wellies for this one?" I went, "No." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I've upped the game this time." He said, "Really?" I went, "Listen, this is going to be in a wedding marquee. It's a really plush place, and it's going to go off, man." And I think that was my first proud moment of seeing the atmosphere at Spartan 5 when Tony Meehan beat, can't remember the guy's name now, a really muscly kid, really, a really muscly guy. And, Brandon Schultz Harden it was. Tony beat him and retained his world title. I mean, I still say to this day that the atmosphere that night in that tent is the best I've had yet. Surreal, man. It's absolutely amazing. And it was a proud moment that I'd told everyone on the build-up that we were going to up the level for Spartan 5 from Spartan 4, 3, 2, and 1. And I think when people got there and I could see the reaction on their faces when they seen the setup and everything, I just thought, this is a proud moment, man, because we started the first show on a sandpit with 4 cones with 15 people there. And all of a sudden we're in a nice wedding marquee with 450, 500 people around the bales, seated, nice VIP area, nice bar, everything. It was nice, man. And then to do that again on Spartan 6 and absolutely up the level tenfold again in Cedar Court 4-star hotel. Again, amazing evening, So Spartan 5 and Spartan 6 really was the culmination of us becoming, let's get something straight. We built this company with everyone laughing in our faces, everybody mocking us, everybody talking about us, everybody ripping me to bits, everyone doing, now listen, now we're one of the big boys, yeah? And it's not going to stop. I can't go into it on this interview with you now, but I've got another proud moment coming in a couple of weeks. And when I make the announcement, chins will drop. So it's little bits. It's not so much of the success of the show or anything else. I think my proudest moment was seeing the fighters' faces at Cedar Court, because at long last, I've finally give them what I've been promising them for 2 years. So that was my proudest moment with Spartan Support.
Incredible, amazing, absolutely amazing work you're doing, and you continue to do as well. And yeah, I mean, we're all excited about the big developments, because you sort of get the feel for it that there's some coming. I know you can't say, but guys, watch out, there's going to be some big stuff happening. So awesome. All right then. So I want to also talk about this with going back in time a little bit, because we're moving around time a little bit with this, and that's cool. But going back in time, what was the reason that you actually chose pit fighting as opposed to ring, like BKB in a ring, the way the guys like Jim Freeman and all those guys are doing it and everything? Because in a pit, I mean, it's a very different sport, it's a very different atmosphere, obviously it's a smaller area. And people haven't got the same amount of room to sort of tip and tap and duck and dive and all this. You've got to go to war in there. So I can imagine that probably factored into you choosing it, because they are real fights, But at the same time, in your own words, what was the reason you sort of chose like the bales and the pit and all that sort of side of it instead of the ring? Just for anyone watching this that doesn't know the answer to that one.
Okay, well, firstly, I'm going to say that anybody who jumps in the pit, anybody who jumps in the ring, the cage, you've got my utmost respect. Tough game, man.
Absolutely.
It's a real tough game, man. Whether you're wearing gloves, 12 ounce, 10 ounce, 8 ounce, 4 ounce, doesn't matter. Tough, man. It's a tough game. You're getting smashed in the mouth, it's not pleasant. But the reason I chose the pit was this. When I had the time out the game in between CMS and Spartan, when I was going to come back, and I agreed with James I was going to come back, I sat down and had to think about it, and I watched some of the shows, which, and it's famous in the press that me and Jim Freeman Doug don't get on, me and Joe Smith Brown don't get on. Listen, it is what it is. Do I knock them as businessmen? No. What they've done with that company is absolutely phenomenal. They took it from what I've got now, the hay bales, to the O2. Now, I'm good with that. That's an amazing job. But I've got to be honest with you. I watched the fight with Ricardo Franco and James Kennelly in the prize fighter final. Now, I'm a massive Ricardo fan. He keeps Ricardo quite a lot. I know I'm big up to Ricardo if he watches this. I know he's been through the mill, and he's come out the other end. So massive respect to him. What a guy. But those guys went for 7 2-minute rounds in the ring, man, and got out with a black eye. That's bullshit, man. This is bare knuckle. So I looked at it and I thought, how can I give the fans and the fighters something different? So I sat down and I looked at the old school ways of fighting when BKBTM were in the bales and when Andy Toffler had the bales, they were having like 12 and 16 foot pits. Listen, 88 is the way forward. nowhere to go. So the fighters, you show me a fighter anywhere in the world who's happy to get out of that pit, cage or ring with a draw, and I'll show you the liar. Yeah. So
Yeah.
instantly in an 88 square with nowhere to go, there is no draws at Spartan. You win or you lose. Simple as that. So straight away, we're giving the fighters something that they know they're either going to win or lose. There's not going to be a draw where we're coming back in a few months and we go, listen, you win or lose. We've made the rule now as well. It's going to be coming out in 2 weeks that we get to the end of 5 rounds in a championship fight. If for some mad reason it is scored a draw, they'll be checked over by the medics. And if you can go on, they'll do another round. And that's how it's going to be. Nobody wants a draw. No fans travel to watch a draw. So that's what we thought of. We thought, right, by putting them in an 88 square, it's going to be all action. Don't blink. No fight's going to go more than 1 or 2 rounds. You know, so we're providing the entertainment for the fighters to get in that small arena, and they're providing the crowd with their entertainment by KOing or being KO'd. And that's what bare knuckles should be. You know, so we deal in knockouts, man. That's what we do. All action.
Well, absolutely. And I got to say, you know, you guys deliver on that every single time. Absolute all action, fireworks, knockouts, you know, super exciting. And yeah, there is nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. And that's why, you know, and yeah, when I said that earlier, obviously I'm not knocking any other sports. I love boxing. I love like traditional BKB, work with those guys on all different sports, MMA as well. But, you know, but I still wanted to highlight the difference because, like I say, there's the people that know and there's people that don't know. So nice one for that. Okay. Now, when it comes to people wanting to fight for you or when they're sort of wanting to come in and everything like that, let's talk a little bit about them because it is all about the fighters at the end of the day. How do you sort of assess talent and everything like that? What's the sort of process they have to go through to, you know?
Well, firstly, we'd ask them to see a video or any fight footage they've got. If it's a newbie, then we would ask them to send them a couple of minutes training where they're hitting the bag, where they're, you know, doing whatever, well, mainly hitting the bag. Let me see you hit the bag flat out for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, you know, let's see how you're. If they're blowing out their ass after 30 seconds and they need to work on it, you know, if they're hitting the bag, I can normally generally tell whether they've got a bit of a good form about them when they're hitting the bag and moving about. So, you know, it's tricky with debutants because you are actually matching blind, you know, so but I don't think I've done a bad job over the years, you know, I mean, when I announced the Tony Meehan fight against Brandon Chicago, this is no lie, and Tony will tell you, I must have received about 200 inboxes of people calling me a prick. I'm clueless. Can't I see that Brandon Hardin's well bigger than Tony Meehan? I actually had to get Brandon Hardin to stand on the scales live on Facebook to prove he was under 12 stone. And then he did. And then I spent the next 6 weeks telling everybody that I believe Tony's got a chance because he's really fit and, you know, he's starting to learn more and more. And Tony beat him. Now, how many fans do you think inboxed me after the show and said that was well matched? Well done, Christian.
How many?
None.
I mean, none. Oh, yeah. I was hoping there'd be 1 or 2, but no, none. Okay. Yeah.
You know, so it is a thankless task and it is hard to match debutants. But I think, you know, with any other matchmakers out there and any other company owners or people who do the fighting, I think once you've started a company like Spartan or BKBTM, you grow with the fighters, you get to see their abilities, you get to see how good they are. Like someone said to me the other day, how hard was it to match Leon Brazil against Andrew Anthony? It wasn't hard at all. They're both unbeaten, they're both the same weight, and they're both looking for a world title.
Yeah.
You know, so let's do it, man. That's the other thing with Spartan as well. You know, you see these other companies, oh no, he's going to have another fight with him, and he's going to have another fight with him, and then we'll do this. The reason I like Ben Knuckles so much is there's no politics like there is in boxing.
Yeah.
You know, and it's as simple as this. When we get 2 people who are the best in that weight, they're fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, fireworks, all action. Yeah, I mean, that is something to say. They are very well matched. In my opinion, they're very well matched. And for everyone watching, you know, and yeah, I mean, you know, you never know 100%, but I mean, they are very evenly matched. And as you say, there's no There's none of the stuff that goes on in boxing. No politics, no people ducking people, not even the journeyman concept. I mean, every fight's a fair fight and all that. So, there's a lot of good things that you guys have got going for you. And
The
again, that's
beauty, the beauty of our arena and the beauty of our sport is you can have someone who's had 17 fights and won all 17 against someone who's had 3 fights and won 3, and 3 fights could knock him out because every single fight is stand and bang. So it's
yeah,
a 50-50.
yeah. Absolutely, it adds the excitement to it big time as well, because like the atmosphere, like the adrenaline, all that sort of thing is, absolutely. So, all right, brilliant. So we move well through that. Now, another thing here, obviously, you've got a show coming up, and I got to give a shout out to this very, very exciting show with obviously the Fight Fest show and everything like that. Now, this one we can sort of cover for people that know and people that don't know, but there's a lot of fights on the card, and it's a very, very exciting show. I'm definitely pumped for it. But walk us through the show in terms of how the preparations are going, how everything's coming together. Because I mean, this interview, just for everyone watching, is early June. The show's set for July 3rd, I believe. So let's talk a little bit about how the preparations going and what's happening your end, basically.
So we've got a venue. We've submitted a license. I think it's all eyes on Monday, isn't it, on Boris, to see what he says about the 21st of June. There is a worry about the new Indian variant or whatever it is, if you believe in it and that. It's up to you. There is other pandemics out there, by the way. It's not just COVID. Other pandemics are available. No, yeah, it's going to be down to Boris on Monday, I think. I think Boris is going to turn around. I think he's going to let us open again on the 21st of June. I think if you've told the public for months the Freedom Days, the 21st of June, then you move the goalposts, it won't end well, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, here you
So
are.
where we're up to is we've submitted a license. Police have rung me this morning as it goes. Told me they'll be in touch on Monday afternoon. So I've met all the license conditions. We know where the venue is. I'm not releasing the venue until we've got the license because, as you know, some underhanded stuff and a little bit of skullduggery takes place every now and then in this game. So we're just keeping our cards close to our chest, and we expect to name the venue on Monday or Tuesday and put the license up online so everyone can see that this is the real deal, man. 44 fights.
Well, fights, man, it is absolutely cracking, and I'm so excited for it. Obviously, it's going to be great in terms of the venue, the capacity. Quick mention here for people that want to watch the show, if they're not in attendance. What's the deal with streaming and things like that for this one, in particular, or anything else we've got going on? Is it going to be like live on
Well,
Facebook?
the beauty of this one is there's no streaming on this one.
Okay.
I expect to make a very, very major announcement in the next few days about streaming rights to our company.
Yeah.
So we have done a bit of a deal with the company to stream all our events, and that's in America. So we're also looking to do a deal with another company in Asia and another company in Russia. But, they're all things coming up. So the Fight Fest one itself, I'm sure there's a few people putting recordings on after the show and stuff, and, you'll get to see it that way. But I've just got to tell you, there'll be no streaming on Fight Fest 1. Fight Fest 2, however, the link will be released for Fight Fest 2 August the 29th on July the 6th.
Okay. Brilliant. Well, you heard it first, guys. Everyone listening to this, you heard it first there. It is exciting, champ. I mean, and obviously, yeah, with that, you have to be there for Fight Fest 1. I mean, that's cool. A lot of people have done that. I mean, I even know there was a few musicians doing that, like recently with their concerts when they were, you couldn't film it or whatever, and you had to be there to enjoy it. So the concept is sound. I get where you're coming from, but yeah, with the streaming, that's exciting. Now I want to go into the international side of it because I know there's only so much you can say, but obviously pit fighting has grown a huge amount since you've been involved, largely thanks to yourself, but other people as well. Obviously, there's a few people, but I do want to say bare knuckle, I mean, traditional bare knuckle is growing all over the world now. I mean, obviously you've got the BKFC in America, obviously you've got BKB in the UK, but you've got shows in Russia, in Thailand, in Norway coming up. I think you've got a whole bunch of things. So are you looking to sort of collaborate with some of those people? I mean, you mentioned Russia, and obviously I thought, well, like Top Dog and some of the like the new promotions out there and all that type of stuff. But and I've tried to interview those guys. I can't find anyone that speaks English, but they probably are out there. But there's some great shows that are happening around the world. Obviously, like Ragnarok coming up in Norway. So it's expanding all over the world. So that I can see a sort of prime time for you to sort of maybe collaborate, share fighters, work with them on streaming. I mean, I'm not sure really, but what are your thoughts? And I know you can't say everything about this, and I respect that fully. But international side, what are your thoughts on sort of where it will go in terms of international audiences outside of the UK? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, firstly, I'd like to say big shout out to Mark, the Hand of God there, former UFC veteran, Bellator, you name it, he's fought it. We will be launching the Spartan Wars Ring BKB in October. That will take place on the 16th of October. There'll be 20 fights on the card, including a few titles, maybe a few shots of people who are going to appear as well, because as you know, Mark has his hand in the business really deep. So we expect to be naming some world stars on that, So, and I expect when we put our ring out there and Mark's winning it, we expect to hit the ground running, man, and we expect to be a leader in that field as well as the Bales, So, yeah, I think it's a good time to be in bare knuckle with the ring and the pit. I think, like you just touched on yourself, the sport's growing up all over the world now. It's crazy. But yeah, Ragnarok looks exciting. They look like they've got the stuff together, so all the power to them. I hope that works out for them. BKBTM are in a strong position in the ring companies. They're doing a great job. They're leading the UK by, you can't doubt that. They lead the UK in the ring BKB. That can't be taken away from them, what they've done. And like I say, I'm not going to knock them as businessmen. But my personal opinion is I don't believe they know enough to write on a stamp about fighting, but they are really good businessmen, and they've turned that company to a massive leader in the UK. I think everybody else in the UK with a ring will be chasing them for a long time to come because they are good at what they do. Ragnarok, like I say, they look exciting. They look like they've got the stuff together and they're going to have some good shows. Add to the bone. I mean, Stefan Ounce over in Stoke, he does a good job, man. He's a nice kid. He's always putting on good shows. I think to be fair, he's the second biggest in the UK for the ring.
Yeah.
He gets the biggest crowds, man. He's getting like 1,200 at that King's Hall in Stoke. So, listen, mate, he's got the potential to go worldwide as well. It's a good time, man, to be in the UK and being in a BKB company with a ring. Me personally, when Mark came up with the idea, and I am going to be truthful with you, I've got the most respect for any athlete that gets in any arena like that. But the ring, it doesn't hold as much excitement to me as the pit. The pit's fast, it's furious, and we coined the slogan, start fast or start last, so that just excites me. But for the ring companies, I don't think there's any doubt that the biggest in the world right now are BKFC. I think they are leading the way for the time being, but I don't believe that will always be the case. I believe that others will catch up, sport will evolve, but yeah, man, there's so many good companies out there, and that's just a few that I've named. But I would say BKFC are the biggest out there right now with a ring, closely followed by BKBTM, Add to the Bone, maybe Ragnarok. Well, we can't say Ragnarok, we haven't had one yet, but Bare Fist, and a few others. So yeah, it's exciting times, man. The gloves are off as well. I don't really know anybody from the gloves are off, and I don't really speak to many of them. But I know Jason Martin came down and photographed a few of the shows and said, "Listen, really good standard, really well run." So yeah, man, it's exciting times that every company that's out there at the minute seems to be excelling, and everyone seems to be looking at the UK as the leaders. So that's a good thing for us, man.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's a good thing for us. I do, yeah, I definitely agree with the leaders in terms of loving fights, understanding fights, and really being true, true fight fans. Not casual fans, but like solid fight fans in the UK. And I've interviewed guys in America, and they've said that whether it's glove boxing in BKB, well, or whatever, and they've said the UK fans are some of the best fans you can have. They say it to me time and time again, and I think that's true. But the international expansion is very exciting for you guys, and I love the respect you show for everyone else as well. But obviously, you've got some big things on the horizon, so everybody watch out. This is going places. Okay, so there's only a couple more things now.
We will announce our new American pit company.
Yeah.
This weekend. We'll tell you all about that this weekend. We'll tell you who's doing it. You know who's doing it. You don't know who's doing it yet, but you do know the person that picked for it.
Okay.
And we're excited, man, because this style of fighting we're bringing with the hay bales and the just plain simple stand and bang, where we're going to open this company for the pit, it makes proper sense because the people that live around that area will love that. And I can tell you, it's a bit more of an exclusive that we're just about to do a deal with an American company, or massive in America, and we're going to be maybe flying over there to beat them up, and then flying them over here to beat them up again.
That is class. I love it. I love it. Well, Sam, it's a really good insight there, champ. I love it. Only a couple of other things we got now, but we're doing really well covering a lot of good stuff, going in depth, which is good. I just got some bullet points here for that. So the other thing, going back to the fighters themselves and your role, also bringing them in and all that sort of thing. Can you tell early on who is going to be, quite successful in the pit versus the guys that struggle? Now, I do want to say massive respect to anybody in the pit. I mean, you really got to have brass balls to step in there. But taking that out of it, in terms of the people that excel and they become champions and all that. Obviously, I interviewed Tony Meehan and he's done amazing with it. But can you tell straight away, or do they have to have a couple of scraps first so you can sort of see the mindset and see what they're made of?
I can tell within 30 seconds, to be fair.
Okay.
You see that many fights. Some of the fights we watched over the time. I don't know whether you've watched Robbie Adamson and Jacob Williams fight.
Yeah.
Now, to give you a little backdrop on that, Jacob Williams only introduced himself to the group 2 weeks before that fight. And he come on the group and listen, he done it the way any fighter should do it if he wants to get noticed. He put a video in the group saying, I'm 12.5 stone, I'll fight anybody from 12 stone to 16 stone. So Robbie's opponent had dropped out and we picked Jacob. Now, when you say, can you tell if he can fight or not? Listen, he hadn't even got in the pit. As soon as he walked in that hotel and I looked him in the eye, I knew he was for real, man. He looked the real deal, man. He looked everything he said he was coming. Even Robbie come over to me and said, he's a bit heavier than me, but we'll have it. He said, but I'm telling you now, Christian, he can fight. I said, well, he just knew, just looking at him. But when he got in, boy, oh boy, what a first round that was between him and Robbie. It was the one time, and I think Jason Marshall actually backed us up. I actually looked at Jason at the end of round one, and they both had broken jaws coming in. And when they both got off the stools to go out for round two, I looked at Jason and said, I'm going to go to jail, man. This isn't good. But as luck would have it, and God bless them, the fight was over quickly in the second round, and a lot of respect shown, both love for both characters. And that confirmed it for me that Robbie's the real deal. Just like it confirmed it for me that Tony was the real deal when he beat Brandon Hardin. The same thing for Robbie, was up against him, man, the first 45 seconds. Never in trouble, took the shots, rode them, and overcome and conquered. Normally with a new pit fighter, you see them jump in. Within 30 seconds, you know whether you've got a gem or you've got someone who's listen, they're all tough. But I mean, somebody will get in and dig in and really have a go. Or there's people who'll get in till the bang and then they start wilting. And, there's 3 different categories in my head, but I just want to say again, we've got a kid that fights for us. We've got 2 actually. We've got Philip Hammond. He's a 52-year-old fella. He turns up every show. He has his fight. He's lost at every fight he's had so far. but he's the first person to ring me Monday morning to say, put my name down for Spartan 5, put my name down for Spartan 6, you know. And I just want to stress to you, and everybody else out there as well, without those people in your company, to me, they are just important as the ones walking around with belts.
Yeah, big time, big time.
You know, so yeah, you can tell pretty soon off how a fighter's going to be or he's not going to be. But the beauty, like I go back to, like I said to you before, is the beauty is this. It takes one punch in this arena to turn everything around like it does in every other arena, but the chance of you landing that punches are greater than ours because there's not enough room to cover. So, like they say, the 50-50 fight. So, if there is people in our company that there is that I'm going to fight there, just keep plugging, man. Your win's coming. You know, you've just got to keep getting and plugging away, and I'm sure good things will happen to all of them. But yeah, man, I couldn't be more proud of the set of lads I've got at the moment. Every single one of them, I love them all, you know. So, if you're watching this, Spartans prepare.
Oh yes. Yeah, guys, anyone watching this obviously was already a member of Spartan. Big respect, you know, from Christian, from myself, from everybody, because honestly, like I said, man, you've got to have a lot of heart to do that, and it's a real fight. I mean, there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, no tippy tappy, no nothing for cover, no nothing. It is just war. So, you know, big respect. But yeah, I was still interested in your insights in it because you deal with so many fighters. So, you know, it's a good one. So, last couple of things then. The impact you feel you've had on the fighters, because there's a lot of guys I believe that you've taken on that wouldn't necessarily have the chance to fight other places. Now I know there are people who've competed in other sports and what have you and all this type of thing, but there's some guys like you said about Hammond just now and the age of some of these guys, and you know maybe they're going again, maybe they're going for the first time, but you're giving them all a shot for great exposure, great fights, you know, to find out what they're really made of, who's the toughest, all this type of thing. So, what are your sort of reflections on the impact you're having on the fighters themselves? You know, giving them a shot, giving them a chance to sort of fulfill their dreams. If you get where I'm coming from.
I think I was asked this a while ago on a radio, and I think I was asked it on Sean Atwood as well. But the answer will never change. Now it's I could sit here and blow smoke up my own bottle all night, you know, and I can life around. You've done this, you've done that, you've done this, you've saved me, you've done it. Yeah, you've done it for yourself. You know, I'm doing this first. But then what they don't realise is they've actually saved my life too. Because I'm just a normal dude, man. I'm just a normal dude off the street. I enjoy doing it. And the biggest reward of it all for me is it's legal and I'm getting people off the street.
Yeah.
Off the street, putting weapons down, staying out of jail, earning a few quid, making a name for themselves. Some of these people might not be able to go and get a job as a mechanic or go and get a job working for the government or go and get, but listen, we've got two hands and we've got a heart and we've got the spirit to win them. And as long as you've got, there's only one language in the pit, and that's can you scrap or not? You know, so everyone's on an even playing field, but more importantly, they're not getting locked up and they're not going to jail.
Incredible message, incredible work. I mean, we've covered, you know, a lot of stuff here, and I figured it would be like this, where we sort of covered. I mean, I wrote bullet points, but we've gone out into this thing and that thing and a lot of things. I want to give a real quick shout out to sponsors as one of the last things, because I know obviously you've got some sponsors, and I also want to say if there's people watching this who want to sponsor you, you can walk us through how they can. So it's sort of double-sided of the sponsors you've got now, but also if new ones want to come on, what they have to do basically. So let's talk about that as well, real quick.
Okay, so I'll give a shout out to my sponsors, who are Scott Webb Shellfish, Human English, and Jason McWilliams. They've been there from day one. They seen the dream with me. They realised that I was just a struggling dude getting a company out the door. Listen, heroes, both of them. I want to give another shout out to Pixie Lou Entertainment. Again, phenomenal. They've sponsored. They've only come on for this show and come on board, and they've sponsored us as well. Eco Tech Systems, another one. Tristan Josh, been there from day one. Never falters. Sponsored Fight Fest 1, sponsored Fight Fest 2, sponsored Spartan 5, 6. You know, listen, without sponsors, you're nothing. Let's get that straight. So, yeah, I want to give a shout out to those guys. The one was Extreme Cleaning as well. And a new one we've just got is Priority Security. Christopher Charles and that down in Birmingham, brilliant security firm. They're going to be doing all Spartan shows nationwide. Yeah, you need them, man. You need them. Anybody wants to jump on board and sponsor what we're doing here, I can tell you this, we're only going to get bigger, man. That's my true belief. The board wants to do anything with us, just simply join Spartan BK Fight Club on the group and come and see us, man.
Yeah, well, you're very open, you're very easy to approach and everything like that. So, you know, anyone who's interested in sponsoring, helping out, getting involved in rapidly growing, rapidly explosive growth you guys are going through, contact Christian Roberts. He's, you know, he's not hard to find. Spartan BK Fight Club on Facebook as well. It's a group, massive group now, but you can join that. So, brilliant. All right. So the last thing really is, the very last thing really is obviously the fans themselves. We've talked about you, we've talked about the fighters, we've talked about the sponsors, and we've talked about all the different people, but and the other companies and all this stuff. But the fans, obviously, nothing would happen without the fans. So, what would you say personally to the people that have, you know, come to Spartan shows, you know, bought tickets, supported the fighters, you know, the people that have sort of had your back in that sense, if you like? What would be any words you'd say to them, really?
I always say it, and I say it in every other podcast. I say it in every other interview, and I say, listen, we've got the biggest following out there, and we've got the best fans in the world, man. We've never had a spot of trouble at one of our events. They're impeccably behaved. You know, and they just keep coming and buying the tickets and doing this and doing that, doing this. You know, we can't knock our fans, mate. Without fans and without fighters, we're nothing. So I just want to say a massive, massive from the bottom of my heart thank you to all our fans, all the fighters who make this possible. You know, sponsors, everything, man. Yeah, I've got a really lucky job, man. I get to steer the ship. But, you know, these are the guys that are in the engine room. So, you know, massive respect to those guys. All of them, sponsors, fans, fighters, the lot. And I just believe the mentality that we've installed, that we're a big family. There's no stopping Spartan, man. We're going to grow and grow and grow. It's getting bigger by the day. So massive respect to everybody.
Well, champ, you know, big respect to everyone that's involved. Big respect to you, obviously, and you know, last but not least, let me just say, obviously, thank you for making the time as well. Because I mean, we've gone in depth. I know I said it'd be like half an hour. It's been like an hour or something, or 50 minutes. But it's been good, man. You know, we've gone really into it, and obviously, you know, you're making time in the gym and all that as well. Big respect on that one. All right.
No problem. I'm still a massive fan. I'll be watching all your podcasts, and thanks for having me on, man. It's an honor.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.